Hi, I'm Bella, and I want you to think about the last time you sat in a salon chair for 4 hours, walked out with the smoothest hair of your life, and handed over $400 at the register. Now I want you to think about what was actually in that bottle your stylist applied to your hair, because I did that math. I read the ingredient lists, I talked to cosmetic chemists, I compared formulas across price points from $20 to $800. And what I found fundamentally changed the way I think about one of the most popular and most expensive treatments in the entire hair care industry. The keratin treatment, the Brazilian blowout, the smoothing service that salons everywhere market as a transformation, you can only get in a professional chair. Is there a real difference between what a $400 salon session delivers and what a $40 at-home kit can do? The answer is more complicated than the industry wants you to know, and more honest than most stylists will ever be with you. Stay with me. Let's get into it. What keratin actually is, and what these treatments really do. Before we can compare the price points, you need to understand what keratin treatments actually do at the molecular level, because the marketing language around this category is some of the most misleading in all of hair care. Keratin is a fibrous structural protein. It makes up approximately 95% of the hair shaft. When your hair is healthy, the keratin chains inside the cortex are intact, the cuticle scales lie flat, and the hair reflects light evenly, resists humidity, and behaves predictably when styled. When your hair is chemically treated, heat damaged, or simply porous from repeated washing, those keratin chains are broken or depleted, the cuticle lifts and separates, and the result is frizz, dullness, and the kind of hair that expands in humidity like it has its own agenda. Here is what a keratin treatment does not do, regardless of whether you pay $40 or $400 for it. It does not rebuild your hair's internal keratin structure from the inside out. The keratin molecules used in cosmetic treatments, both salon and at home, are hydrolyzed keratin. That means the keratin protein has been broken down into smaller peptide fragments through a chemical process. These fragments are small enough to partially penetrate the outer layers of the hair shaft and temporarily fill gaps in the cuticle, coating the hair and making it smoother, softer, and more resistant to humidity. The effect is real. The mechanism is a surface and near-surface coating, not a deep structural rebuild. And that distinction is the most important thing to understand before you decide how much to spend. Salon keratin treatments typically cost between $150 and $800, with premium formaldehyde-free options often exceeding $600. For a mid-length, medium-thickness head of hair at a reputable salon in a major city, $300 to $400 is a realistic expectation. The session itself takes 2 to 4 hours and involves a clarifying shampoo, section-by-section application of the keratin formula, a processing period, blow-drying, and flat iron sealing at high heat to lock the treatment into the cuticle. The actual keratin formula your stylist uses is most commonly one of a handful of professional brands: Brazilian Blowout, Keratin Complex, GK Hair's Juvexin System, or Cezanne. These professional formulas do have real advantages over most at-home kits. The concentration of active ingredients is typically higher. The formulas are designed to be activated and sealed by a professional flat iron at temperatures between 400 and 450 degrees Fahrenheit, a process that requires skill and experience to do correctly and evenly across the entire head. And the stylist's expertise in sectioning, application thickness, and iron technique genuinely affects the result. Professional treatments deliver longer-lasting results and expert customization for specific hair types and damage levels. But here is what you are also paying for when you hand over $400 at the salon desk: the salon's rent in whatever city you are in, the stylist's time across 4 hours, the markup on the professional product itself, and the service infrastructure of the appointment. Over 3 years, salon keratin treatments could accumulate between $1,500 and $4,500 in total cost. That number, laid out plainly, is what the industry would prefer you not think about too carefully. This is the part of the keratin treatment conversation that the salon industry has been evasive about for over a decade, and you deserve a straight answer. Traditional keratin treatments, the kind that produce the most dramatic, longest-lasting straightening results, use formaldehyde or formaldehyde-releasing compounds as the cross-linking agent that bonds the hydrolyzed keratin to the hair shaft. Formaldehyde is a known human carcinogen, classified by the International Agency for Research on Cancer. When it is applied to hair and sealed with a flat iron at high temperatures, it releases formaldehyde gas. This is the vapor that makes your eyes water and your throat sting in certain salon environments. The FDA has been investigating this issue for years, and regulatory pressure has pushed much of the professional market toward formaldehyde-free formulas. Here is the critical nuance. Formaldehyde-free does not always mean what it sounds like. Many formaldehyde-free keratin treatments use glyoxylic acid or methylene glycol, compounds that can release formaldehyde during the heat sealing process at lower but still measurable levels. Some formaldehyde-free treatments may not be completely formaldehyde-free. They may contain traces or use ingredients that create it during the process. The truly formaldehyde-free treatments, those using glyoxylic acid systems or amino acid-based formulas, are real, they are safer, and they are widely available in both professional and at-home formats. But the marketing language around this issue is inconsistent enough that you need to read ingredient lists rather than relying on front-of-label claims. At-home keratin kits typically cost between $40 and $100 and are effective for 4 to 6 weeks, requiring a 1.5 to 2 hour application at home. Brands like GK Hair, OGX, and several direct-to-consumer options have made professional adjacent formulas available without the salon appointment. The active ingredients in most at-home kits are genuinely similar in category to their salon counterparts. Hydrolyzed keratin, amino acids, conditioning emollients, heat-activated bonding agents, and in many cases, glyoxylic acid as the cross-linking component. GK Hair's at-home Uvexin treatment, for example, uses a plant-derived keratin protein blend sourced from quinoa and pea proteins, which the brand calls Juvexin V2. This is a plant-based protein derived from quinoa and pea, optimized to repair and strengthen hair from the inside out. The formula is applied at home, blow-dried, and sealed with a flat iron, the same basic process as a salon treatment, executed by the consumer rather than a professional. The ingredient category is the same. The concentration may be slightly lower. The professional expertise is absent. The price difference is $300 or more. The honest limitation of at-home kits is not the formula, it is the application. Professional stylists are trained to apply the treatment in precise, even sections at a consistent thickness, then seal it at the exact right temperature for the exact right amount of time. An uneven application leads to uneven results. Too much product in one section and too little in another creates inconsistent smoothing. A flat iron used at the wrong temperature, too low, and the treatment does not seal properly, too high and it damages the hair, undermines the entire process. These are real, meaningful differences. They do not cost $300 to solve, but they do require patience, practice, and a willingness to follow instructions precisely. The most consistent argument salons make for the price premium of professional keratin treatments is longevity, and it has some validity. Salon treatments last 3 to 5 months, while at-home kits are effective for 4 to 6 weeks. That is a real difference. A single salon treatment lasting 4 months costs $400. 4 at-home kit applications covering the same 4-month window at $40 each costs $160. The math still favors the at-home option, but the time investment is higher, and the execution risk is repeated rather than managed once by a professional. What changes the longevity equation most significantly is not whether you went to a salon, but what you do after the treatment. Using sulfate-containing shampoos is one of the fastest ways to strip a keratin treatment, regardless of how much you paid for it. Sulfates swell the hair cuticle during washing, breaking down the coating that both salon and at-home treatments deposit on the shaft. Every professional stylist will tell you to switch to a sulfate-free shampoo after a keratin treatment, and that instruction applies equally to a $400 salon service and a $40 at-home kit. The aftercare, not the price point, has an enormous influence on how long your results last. The $400 keratin treatment and the $40 at-home version are using the same fundamental chemistry to solve the same problem. The salon version offers professional application, higher concentration formulas in some cases, and longer-lasting results when executed well. The at-home version requires more effort, more patience, and more repetition, but it delivers genuinely comparable smoothness and frizz control for a fraction of the price. The question is never which one has better chemistry. They both have good chemistry. The question is how much you value the professional execution, how confident you are in your own application, and whether the $360 difference in price is worth the convenience and expertise the salon provides. Now you have the information to answer that question based on what is actually in the bottle, not the story the price tag is telling you. If this video gave you a more honest picture of what keratin treatments actually are and what they actually cost, hit the like button and subscribe to The Beauty Trap. Next week, I am going inside the 5 most overhyped hair ingredients on the market right now, the ones brands charge the most for and the science supports the least. Drop a comment below, salon or at home. I want to know where you stand. I'm Bella. I'll see you in the next one.